when they don't want to is just because they're afraid of losing that primary woman that they're with, because there's value in relationship, there's value in marriage. Marriage is a business, really, first and foremost, and I think that a lot of times men do really see the value in the women that they have by their sides, and they see how that woman can potentially help to elevate him.
Me being a man, I don't know too many men who commit and don't want to commit, unless it's for the typical reasons like anybody else would commit for, reasons of, just needing something from another person at that moment, or needing them to do for you or take care of you. And I know a lot of men like that, they commit because they need some place to stay.
For the men, whatever you were doing before y'all got married to warm it up, you got to keep warming it up. If you were running hot baths and giving flowers and, giving massages and stuff like that, that stuff doesn't stop, especially when you go from that to at 3 o'clock in the morning, baby, you sleep. You got to put a little bit more into it, because we do really like to have sex, if we ever like to have sex, but we're human beings too. We get tired, we get frustrated, we go through a lot of things, and we need coaxing sometimes.
I think that for a lot of men, the sex will start to die if the woman makes the sex like a reward type thing, or makes it a situation where a man has to do something to get sex. I was married myself for 10 years, and the only problem we didn't have a problem with was sex. And in the bedroom, we never had a problem there. We both were Geminis, that could be a part of it too. But, my ex-wife never used sex to hold over my head. Like, we could be in arguments or whatever, but when I was in the mood as a man, trust me, we could shift the whole mood and get into it. And I think a lot of women have to be careful to make sure that they're not making the man feel like you actually have to do something for the sex, because it should be a natural thing that actually brings us back together. It's love making. Why do people want open relationships? Greedy?
I think a lot of times people want open relationships because they just have short attention spans.
I think sometimes people want open relationships too, because it kind of lessens the burden of the pain that you can get from being in a committed relationship when you're completely in love with somebody and then they may fall out of love with you or something like that. I think it's the fear of that pain that makes people want to be in an open relationship.
Men will be very gung-ho about being in an open relationship so that they can freely move the way that they want to move in and outside of it, but when it comes to the woman being able to be just as free and as open, there's usually an issue, because it becomes a subject of, well, that's my whatever. You can fill in the expletive.
When you and your partner sit down and actually come to a decision that you're just going to have an open relationship, to me, most of the time that I've ever seen that or done that myself, it's always the end of the relationship. It's a funny situation, the older you get, when you're dating women, the less they'll tell you about themselves. Like, when you're young, you ask a woman, everybody wants a virgin or something close to it. So you may say, how many times you did A, B, and C, or how many guys you've been with. A woman will tell you one thing. When you start to get a little older, those things become things you either don't talk about in the beginning, and you usually wait till you inside the relationship, then you start to find out different things. They may have slept with somebody that different things like that. And I think we just don't tell the full story because people become accustomed to being judged by the information that they give out.
To men being dishonest, I think sometimes there's this assumption that we don't know how to take things as women, that we can be irrational, we like to fly off the handle, we like to get crunk and get crazy, and a lot of times men try to avoid just our reactions, as opposed to really giving us a choice in terms of how we'll react about things.
Why don't men marry their best friends, their homegirls? Why don't men marry those women? I don't know. I've been friends with Damaris for over 11 years. When are we getting married? I think one of the reasons why is because once you finally find a good friend, you don't want to actually hurt the person. And it's kind of like what I told one of my other good female friends. I never want us to break up. And that's how I always feel about damaris, because I feel like as a man, eventually we going to break up. But, you know, my females that's my best friends, I never want to put myself in a position where we'll break up. We can argue, fight, come back together as friends, but when you get too personal sometimes, it puts you in a situation where you may not want to see each other anymore. And I never want to get in that position with my female friends. So that's why I don't think men marry, you know, their homegirls and best friends like that. Although you do want the person that you marry to have some of those attributes of your homegirl and your best friend, but that person is expendable. Friendships are something that, you know, you don't want to ever mess with. So I think men kind of keep that sacred.
Crazy, right? Lately, almost daily, right? You cross my mind, the phone ring, I'm on your dime. Hey, baby. Amazing, you like candlelight, Malbec, red wine. Blaze and dine, New York Times, moonshine through your window blind. When the moon is right, hot cocoa, marshmallow, Fraser fights. My fingertips trace hearts on your thigh. Y-S-Y, never but dry. Friends then lovers, ride your mind. Beauty behind the eyes, sigh. I love you. Old school lovers rock. Can't get enough like Luther. Never too much, never too much, never too much. I like you smooth like black and white classic. Loose cut jeans with a tailor fit jacket. Magic, that swag, that warrior stance. You're such a manly man. Goals and plan, do what you can. Never overpromise, confident. Good wrench in your toolkit. Shea butter in your pocket for your lips. Why you so sexy? Stop it. Come on now, give me a kiss. Not too wet, you so perfect. Not just yet, you earn respect. Want your love? Yes, yes, yes. Want your heart? I bought a dress. Saturday dinner, glorious. Together you and me, time well spent. Together you and me, heaven sent. Together you and me, destiny. Let's face it, we're meant to be.